Hi, my name is Lisa Martin. I am the mother of a child with special needs. He has Fragile X syndrome. In many respects, he has been my teacher. He has made me be a more caring, compassionate, better human being. What we have learned together on our journey, I have realised the difficulties and challenges that parents of special needs children face are wide and varied. During my years of facilitating courses for parents and professionals, I have met some wonderful people who have shared with me their stories of great joy and sadness, who have experienced the good, the bad and the ugly of all aspects of life bringing up their special children. I am passionate about empowering parents who are dedicated in helping their children with additional needs. You're invited to my podcast. I will be talking about all things in our special world of disability and additional needs. I will be interviewing other parents of children with special needs, as well as professionals and people in the community who are offering services that help. Sometimes these podcasts might touch an emotional nerve and upset you. Other times they might fill you with joy and empower you. I don't mean to make you angry or upset, but we need to get a wider audience listening and talking about disability. Only when this happens, I believe disability won't be feared as it is today. Hello, my name's Lisa Martin, and I'd like to introduce Laura to the good, the bad and the ugly. Welcome,
Hello.
Laura. So, let's start with a little bit about your background, Laura, and the names of your lovely children.
Okay, so I've got Riley, who's 18, and Theo and Zach, who are twins, and they're 11. Riley has non-verbal autism and epilepsy. The twins are neurotypical-ish, no diagnosis.
Mm. So Riley, the epilepsy, that must have been really challenging for you, wasn't it? I know it's controlled now. Hello, Riley. You know we're talking about you. So that is Riley in the background. He's just saying hello as well. So I know it's controlled as epilepsy now, but for quite a while it wasn't, was it?
No, he was 5 when it first kicked in, and he had pneumonia at the time, and that was, I think it was the high temperature that led to the first seizure. But then that just kind of was a tipping point, and he continued to have very, very major seizures and hospitalised many times. He was probably about 13, 14, and he ended up in intensive care in Leicester with a seizure because he'd had an overdose of rescue meds at hospital.
How did that happen?
They just gave him too many meds in hospital. I don't know, lack of notes or whatever. And he had ended up with collapsed lung and a build-up of carbon monoxide in his blood.
Oh my word!
So we had to be blue lighted all the way to Leicester, and he had a tube to help him breathe. And then, but true to form, in the middle of the night he just woke up, pulled out the tube, and wanted to go home, and that was it. So he was only in intensive care for a day.
Oh, bless him.
And then on the main ward for another day, and then we left because he just couldn't be in there anymore. He was throwing cereal at the nurses and causing all kinds of problems because he just wanted to leave. Oh, so I think he thought, if I cause enough trouble, they'll kick me out.
Yeah, so, and it worked.
Yeah.
Good
so he sort
Riley.
of gradually increased his meds until we found the right level for him, and that's what it is with epilepsy meds. It's a lot of trial and error.
Yeah. I think with any of the meds for our kids, actually, I think it's the same. Isn't it? Yeah. It's kind of like our children are guinea pigs because there's no way of sorting out until trial and error.
Yeah, because it affects them all.
Different.
Yeah. But he's fine now. He's on 1,000 milligrams of sodium valproate twice a day. He's very good. He's pretty much in charge of his own medication. Like if I forget, he'll come up to me with the medication box and be like, it's time for me to have my meds. So he's ever so good.
Yeah.
But for him, that's the only medication he's on now. Yeah. He's fairly chilled. Side effects of that are increased appetite and weight gain. But that's about the only side effects we've seen from it. So
So Riley's non-verbal, but actually you and the boys can understand a lot of what Riley's.
Yes.
He's getting his needs met, isn't he?
Yes, absolutely. He will sometimes point, and he will sometimes hand lead. But also he will verbalise to a certain extent. So he can't talk, but depending on the tone of his sounds, we know if he's happy or sad or angry. And also he's very independent, so he can just go and get the things that he wants to get. He will use pictures sometimes to communicate things he wants to do.
Visual support as well.
He will sort of bring us things, like if he wants to go swimming, he'll sometimes just, hand you the bag or the towel or whatever. So he has ways of showing you what he wants. But to be fair, we know him so well that we know how to meet his needs, so he doesn't often have to ask for anything. Really. But that again leads to concerns if he's ever with people that don't know him that well. So we're trying to sort of get some kind of method of communication for him.
Have you ever had a communication passport made for him?
He has had one at school, and we're thinking about getting one done for hospital as well, because although he hasn't been in hospital for a while, you never know. So I think it would be useful. But what I want to get him is a communication device. But it's just going through, because he didn't see anyone for speech therapy for about 16 years. They just didn't bother with him.
Is that because he was non-verbal?
So they didn't have the resources really. So they did a couple of sessions with us on the picture exchange, PECS, and then after that we were just left to it. But you do need to go through speech therapy to get access to the devices. So we're having to start all that again now.
Have you seen Grid Player? Grid Play is really good.
There's quite a few that I'm looking at.
That's a free app as well. And it's actually really fantastic, and it does the talking as well. So you can do the sentence and then it talks. So
he's got I can't remember what it's called, but he's got a big, like a physical iPad, so not electronic. It's actually a big chunky plastic thing.
Oh, Pod. PODD.
No, that's not what it's called. I'll remember, and I'll... That's right. It's green with about 20 squares on it. And if you press it, it talks for you. So you can change the picture inserts. But he only ever used it in the car, so it was really awkward. So he'd use it when we were going somewhere, but he wouldn't want to use it to communicate in the home. So if I tried to bring it in the house, he'd just put it back in the car.
They like to have everything in boxes, don't they? It's like the understanding of, like, we do this here, and then I don't do that there.
So it made its usage really limited. So, which is a bit unfortunate. So he doesn't tend to use it much anymore now. But what I'll do, I'll show him images on Google. So like, we're doing this, and then we're coming home. So he knows what's happening in his day. And he seems happy with that.
Sometimes I have photos of visuals that I have the writing underneath. Because you can do that on iPhone now. Because sometimes the visuals, taking them out and about, it's overwhelming, isn't it? For us, the parent, because we always leave the one we need behind, isn't it? But if you just got everything in your phone, it's a lot easier,
much handier. You've got to take massive Velcroed folders out with you everywhere.
So we have to be really creative as parents, don't we? It's tough. So let's talk about Theo and Zach now. Is it Theo or is it Zach that came into the room? Theo. Sorry, Theo. I still can't tell you apart because Theo and Zach are twins and they're both 11, and living with Riley as their brother, it's made them really lovely and compassionate, really brilliant young men, and they work really well with my child as well, Iggy, and they're really good with all the other kids here, aren't you?
I think any disability really, and any age, it's made them so accepting and understanding and non-judgemental. And they will actually say, how sometimes people with disabilities just get stared at. They will actually say, oh, he's got a nice face, or you look really nice, and go up and actually talk to people. And ask questions, because I think there's a lot of unanswered questions out there, and lots of times people with disabilities or their carers are just happy if you actually talk to them. Like, I'm always happy to talk to people about Riley, because he is very loud and obvious and stands out from the crowd, and I think it's they're very just made them really accepting and caring of
really
any disability.
And that must make it easy for you as well, because, you know, as a parent, I know for myself, we have good days and bad days. And sometimes when we get the stares, yeah, we can take it on board and go up and talk to them and say, oh, hi, meet Riley.
Yeah.
And then some days you just want to kill them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But,
Yeah.
you know, because we're just human beings.
Yeah.
And sometimes we can deal with it and sometimes we can't.
Yeah, and you don't like it, do you, when Mum has confrontation with people? You don't like it when Mummy tells people off, do you? No, they don't. They'd rather I just kept quiet. But I do have days where I will actually go up to people and be like, you know, Riley has
photo.
Yeah, right, and I'll explain, and I'll never apologise for him.
Yeah,
but I will explain his actions and his behaviours, and in the hope that actually it'll help them to become better people.
Yeah,
and maybe next time they wouldn't be so judgmental.
Yeah.
But you have days when your skin's, you know, even after 18 years, I've got a thick skin. And I don't even notice things half the time. But you do have days where things do get to you.
Yeah.
And you notice things. Like Theo and Zach have come up to me, especially Theo, and said he wants to punch people who is very obviously laughing at his brother. And they're a lot bigger than you, aren't they? So I've said probably punching them isn't a great idea, but Mum, you can go and talk to them.
Yeah. And
hope that next time they understand a bit more.
Yeah. It is about educating other people, isn't it?
Look.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like 20 minutes.
Oh. So I was talking to you earlier about the good and the bad points of having a brother with, like Riley. And you said some lovely things earlier about the positive things. Can you remember what they were?
We go out places.
Yeah, you can go out places.
You know some sign language. That was one of them.
Yeah. Yeah, Riley knows some sign language.
And we can understand.
Yeah, and you can understand some of his noises. But what's really brilliant is that you've learned the Makaton as well, haven't you?
It's the signing, darling.
It's the signing.
The name for the signing.
Yes, and it's Makaton. That's what it's called. Because I teach Makaton as well, and Iggy's really good at Makaton. So you might be able to do some Makaton with Iggy as well. Yeah.
Riley's favourite one is toilet.
Yeah. So what about some of the negatives?
Theo? Your big one was that Riley doesn't talk. That's always been your big sad thing, hasn't it, with Riley?
I said that he doesn't talk in other ones. I think the new one.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't like his
sociable and runs into people a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's frustrating, isn't it, when his social skills are lacking, so he will just push past people or run into people in the shop, and
sometimes it angers them, because when we were like at this film thing, this lady, Riley pushed past and Mum said sorry, but she was really angry.
Yeah.
A lack of understanding. That's hard, isn't it? When you know, because Riley he's not doing it on purpose.
No.
And when Mum said sorry that Riley's bumped into somebody or pushed by someone, and they're still pretty angry, I can understand why that makes you angry.
And then Mummy got upset, didn't she? After that as well, and that's not very nice, is it?
Because he's really tall, and he always looks ahead of him, and he always wants to be in front of everyone as well.
Yeah.
So sometimes when he's in front, he might barge into someone and we don't know, and they could get angry. And because he's like 6'1" or something, he's really tall. So people like who are like 5 foot, he'll just look ahead, and then he won't see them.
Yeah.
And could barge into them.
Yeah, I think he has a bit of a problem knowing where his body ends, like his own sort of space, and other people's space, and he just doesn't get it at all.
Yeah, yeah. Iggy's a bit like that. Iggy bumps into people and things, and you know, and I can see people getting annoyed with him, but he doesn't feel it. You know, and he doesn't even feel that he's bumped into somebody sometimes. Iggy can walk on Lego and it won't even hurt him. Yeah, so it's a bit similar, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like this person called, we call him Big Zach. He was at this climbing wall, and he was like showing off, and then he was really high and he fell off, and then hit his leg, and he bikes all the way home with
He
like
did.
broken leg,
Multiple
broken
breaks.
arm, and he didn't
Oh.
even complain.
He didn't even feel it, and it wasn't until he was laying on his sofa,
Yeah.
was he? And he went a bit pale,
Wow.
and he said to his mum he felt a bit sick.
Yes.
But that, again, that's his senses and his autism. He just didn't understand his injuries.
Yeah.
Because he
Iggy
had-
broke his toe once, and I didn't know until the morning.
Yeah.
When when I was getting him out of bed, and he didn't cry.
Yeah.
Nothing. Yeah.
And that's the huge thing with one of the hardest parts, I think, of parenting a non-verbal child is the not knowing if he's hurt.
Yes.
It really
It's a
is.
real worry, isn't
and even
it?
when he's obviously sick, like a high temperature, and he's
Yeah.
being physically sick and poorly, you still don't really know how to make it better.
Yeah.
You can just give the standard kind of hugs and cowpole and things, but that's you don't know how to target it in
Yeah.
any way.
And it's almost
So-
like they've got superhuman powers, because Iggy can be really, really ill,
Mm.
high temperature the lot, where he needs mummy hugs and the Calpol and all
Yeah.
that. And then he's literally jumping on the trampoline as
Yeah.
well, like in between.
Yeah.
in between.
Yeah,
like being
it's like those
really-
highs and lows.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
hard, isn't it?
Mhm.
Something else that Theo said, that the bad side of having a brother like Riley, and it stems to the social aspect, is that he said he likes to sit on the computer all day, and I can't quite figure out, he said, whether that's the autism or whether he's just being lazy.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
it's tough, isn't
Yeah.
it, for kids to get it.
Anyone would think that Theo didn't like to sit on his phone all day, wouldn't they, really? It's getting harder and harder for me to drag them all out, to be honest.
Yeah.
But at least with Riley, if I say to him, because he's very scheduled, if I say to him, 10 more minutes, then we're doing this, he will do it. If he
That's
knows
great.
that that's what we're doing, then he'll do it. So we're always trying to arrange things and going out places because, yes, given half the chance, he will just sit and watch YouTube.
Yeah. I think a lot of kids of the 21st century would as
Yeah.
well, though, wouldn't they?
Yeah, yeah.
But it is hard.
Because he's
really hard.
overweight as well, I want to
Get him out.
try and
about.
get him out. Yeah.
Well, you do that a lot, don't you?
Yeah, we're always doing
Yeah,
something.
you're doing dog
Yeah.
walks and getting them
Yeah.
out and about. Because I feel the same with Iggy.
Mm.
As soon as we arrive home, it's either TV, iPad,
Yeah.
my phone, or all three at the same
Yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah.
Or
How do they do
or else
that?
we're out. Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? Well, another great thing that Theo said, one of the good points of having a brother like Riley, is you get to go places.
Yes,
And you go.
absolutely.
So we're coming on to you getting to go to Disneyland.
Yes.
With the whole family,
Yes.
Riley, the twins. Was it just yourself?
My
or-
mum
And your
came
mum went
with
as
us,
well.
yeah.
And that was with Starlight, wasn't it? Tell
Yeah.
me a little bit about that. That's amazing.
And it's the kind of thing that his epilepsy ped had talked about for quite a few years, and I kept sort of saying, no, that's not for Riley, because I always thought it was for just children that were terminally ill. But I think that's probably a slightly different charity. Something like Make-A-Wish tends to be
yeah.
more for the terminally ill children. But as it turns out, Riley comes under the life-limiting illness category. And even the nurse at the time said to me, you do realise that Riley won't qualify for this. And I went, do you know what, fine. But his doctor was so adamant that we went for it that we were just like, do you know what, let's just apply.
Yeah.
And the next thing we knew, had a phone call saying, you said that Riley likes rides and water. What have you thought about Florida? And that was it.
Was it the Florida?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah.
Amazing.
And because there's this amazing place in Florida called Give Kids the World, and only Wish families can stay there. And it is absolutely incredible, and everything's included there. All your food. They have an ice cream parlour that's open till midnight.
I bet.
Slushies
everyone
around the
liked that.
pool, and all of your passes for the parks. Special passes so you don't have to queue. Your transport, everything. Literally everything
So
is
they
included.
they make it so much easier
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
Because it can be really challenging travelling with the kids.
Oh,
can't
yeah.
it?
Yeah, I mean, we had the lounge as well at Gatwick Airport, which is amazing. The sensory lounge room bit, and all the staff there were fantastic. We had the lanyards, the sunflower
Yeah.
lanyards, and we had our T-shirts as well, our Starlight T-shirts, which obviously also made us stand out as a Wish family.
Yeah.
So even Florida end, where I'd emailed Florida to ask about special assistance, and they were like, well, yeah, you can have it, but it's this many $100. So I was like, do you know what, I'm just going to...
you have to pay for the
the other end,
assistant
yeah. So I was just like, do you know what, I'm just going to take a chance, because they're very much still in Florida. They're quite a lot of, if you've not got a wheelchair, I don't know if it's Florida or America in general, if you're not physically disabled, then you're not disabled enough for the services at the airport.
That's
so
shocking, isn't it? Because with so many other different things, it's almost like America's 20 years ahead of us.
Yeah.
But with that's
because, for example, in America, they're quite far ahead in the fact that they're not even allowed to ask you for proof, for example, whereas in this country, people will still ask you for proof of disability at times. Yeah. America are not allowed to do that at all. But it's very much up to the guards and how they feel at the time, whether they allow you to access. But they took one look at us in our T-shirts and whisked us through. So, yeah, we were the whole way. And also, I hate the phrase, but to be brave enough to play the autism card in a situation like that, you should go for it. Like, there's a lot of parents out there who are like, oh, we don't want to feel like we're bothering people, or I would just go up to the guards with their big guns in America and be like, excuse me, we need to get through this queue, and just be brave and go for it. And they will, generally, if you ask.
You've been a fantastic advocate for Riley. And that's what I love about you. You're just, right, this is it. This is us. Yeah. Take us how we are. Yeah. And that's your lot. Yeah. And I take my hat off to that, because you're absolutely right. A lot of us parents, and I think I've been like that in the past. I'm not wanting to make a fuss, not wanting to make a big deal out of things. And then I think I find it really difficult to ask for support and help.
I think it's hard because in many ways we want to be treated as equals. We want our children to be treated as equals, but then we have times where actually we do need that extra. So it's a moral dilemma for us, because on one hand we want to be treated as equals, and then on another hand we're asking for special treatment. Yeah. So it's a moral dilemma for us as parents.
Yeah, it really is.
But in certain circumstances, it's just better for everybody. And you know the consequences are often when you get home. The consequences might not be seen by everybody. Yeah. Your child might appear to be dealing with it, but you know as a parent that once you're behind closed doors, you're going to be dealing with that. Yeah. So you just have to do what you think is best for you as a family.
Yeah, definitely. And that might look different to each individual family, mightn't it?
But I mean, I think it's also, and I think it's important to push your children as well, because it's like, it's not real life to jump every queue. It's not real life to never go places and never have to do things. So, for example, with Riley, he never used to like the hairdressers. He would spit and kick and scream. But I continued to take him to the same hairdressers and the same, and just keep on pushing, because it's just not like, you can't go through life avoiding things like that all the time. And now he absolutely loves it. He sits in the barber's with a coffee, dries his own hair, and things like that, you know. So you can't avoid all of the triggers. Yeah. But I think in situations like holidays and things like that, where you just want to get there and you just need to try and get there in the easiest way possible, it's quite acceptable to try and make that as easy as possible for everybody.
So it sounds like you all had a brilliant time, and thank you to Starlight for getting you that. I mean, it's amazing that these charity-run organisations exist, isn't it?
And we were one of the last ones to go. I think they were struggling for funding after us. They were doing the odd hot group Disney thing. Yeah. But yeah, really, really incredible. And at the other end, at Give Kids the World, the amount of people that sponsor that place, and they give you a list at the end of all the people you can write to thank them. So many different companies, and obviously Disney themselves for giving all the free tickets, and amazing. Really, really amazing. And for the noisy for the children not having to queue up, it was amazing for Theo and Zach as siblings, because I think it made them feel so special. Because they really, really loved it. Brilliant. It was like, try not to look at other people while you're walking past the massive queue. Like, oh God. And at Universal, they just took us straight into the exits, and we went in the back way.
Fantastic. Oh, it
Just
sounds
amazing.
amazing.
Yeah,
Oh,
really
well
good.
done. I'm really pleased that you enjoyed
Yeah,
your
it was
trip.
brilliant.
How long was it for?
It's only a week, but to be fair, that was probably enough.
Yeah.
We were shattered. There's a lot to do in a week.
Yeah, so talking about charities and great organisations like Starlight, you, even though you've got loads of your own stuff going on, you run something called Spectrum, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah, tell me about Spectrum.
Spectrum's been running for over 20 years now, but I've been involved for 14 years. Started off running Saturday clubs and then went into privately hiring venues in the holidays, all for families with children on the spectrum or young adults on the spectrum. And we privately hire things like swimming pools, soft play, cinemas, farms, skate parks, all kinds of things. For our families to enjoy outings without judgment, and with a lot of less people there as well. So, for example, the indoor skate park that we hire, it can hold over 1,000 people, but there's usually only about 30 kids that we have there.
Oh wow,
so
that
they
must
have
be amazing.
all the space in the world.
Yeah.
Sometimes our events we can have a lot of people there. We have about 150 people at our farm hire. But we always limit it so that everyone's got plenty of space, depending on the size of the venue. And we have a Facebook group. That's our main thing. So alongside the activities, our Facebook group is constant. So it's got almost 1,800 members now.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah,
well done.
Yeah, we've got an admin team because it can get a bit tough at times.
Yeah, social media is really tough, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a lifestyle.
It is.
And an unpaid job.
And it takes a lot of time, social media.
Yeah. And it's constant. I mean, even, I've got a committee around me now and they'll say, take a break when you go on holiday. But you can't.
Yeah.
It's like, you think, oh gosh, what if something's missed? Or, what if somebody needs help and no one's around to help them? And so it's constant.
Yeah. Oh, you're doing a fantastic
I love it.
job.
I love it. I don't think I'll ever stop.
Yeah.
Although the twins say they would like to run Spectrum Club when they're older.
Did they?
But I said they might like to get a job that actually pays them some money. That might be the best bet.
Oh, bless them. What a lovely idea, though. That's so sweet.
Yeah.
Because we were talking earlier about friendship as well. It was yesterday we were talking about this.
Yeah.
And we were saying, having a child with quite high needs, we end up losing a lot of our original friends, don't we?
Yeah.
And you said basically your new family and friends are all parents with children with additional needs.
Absolutely, yeah.
And do you think by doing Spectrum, that's how it's like you've created your whole gang?
Yeah, yeah.
Because that's what I'd like to do as well. It's kind of creating your new buddies, really,
I mean, we call ourselves a family.
Yeah.
We do, and lots of the members of our group, I say members, there's no official membership or anything, but lots of people in our group actually don't have family left because they just have pulled away from their family because their family refused to accept them or are constantly trying to change their children or so they physically have no family. So they say that the Spectrum family are their family.
Yeah.
So
it's
amazing.
a lifeline for a lot of people, isn't it? It's so
and because
vital.
it's local, I think that's the key. There's a lot of national disability forums and things out there, but having that local knowledge of what's around for you on your doorstep is so important because nobody tells you.
Yeah,
None of the professionals are saying this is what you can do. I mean, we're starting 14 years I've been running this group, and we are starting now to get various paediatricians and social workers to mention us to people. But it's like how nobody's doing it, so it's parent to parent is so vital. Yeah, it's key.
Some of the best information in this special world that we now live in has always came from other parents, rather than any professionals, to be honest. So it is word of mouth and getting that kind of connection. It's so important
because we have loads of people. Yes, I'm so happy I've got my diagnosis. Now what? Well,
yeah, it's good luck and see you later, isn't it?
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah,
but that it's at that time where the parent is grieving. You go through a grieving process, even though your child's still alive. It's
not the child that you thought you would have.
Yeah, exactly. So you go through a grieving process. You're trying to figure out how to communicate with this little person in your life because it's all new, isn't
Yeah.
it? And it's very overwhelming because when I found out about my child, I felt like I had to learn a completely new language in a week.
Yeah.
You know, I had to learn the Makaton, I had to learn the visual support, and I had to learn different ways of positive behaviour management, but in a way that our children get.
Yeah.
And it's very overwhelming.
Yeah.
You know, especially being a single parent. 'Cause
Yeah.
you're a single parent as well, I might add.
Yep.
So you're doing a lot of this by yourself, the same as me.
Yep.
And that's really hard, isn't it?
Yeah.
So having the support network, whether it's somewhere that you is already running and
Yeah.
you get to know it, is so important.
Yeah.
But you've created it. You've
Yeah.
got it going, and that's
Yeah.
off to you, Laura.
Yeah, I mean, I am proud of it. I
Yeah,
am
you
proud
should
of
be.
it. And it's not just about the mums and dads either. It's a family thing. So the siblings make friends.
Yeah.
The autistic kids make friends with each other. And it's like when we go out now, my boys will say, "Oh, is Tyrese going, or is Aidan and Finnan going this week, or whatever?" And they'll get excited because their friends are there.
Yeah.
And of course, they all have a common understanding. It might even be unsaid,
Yeah.
but they all have a common understanding. It doesn't even matter whether it's autism or whatever disability it is. It's the same journey.
Yeah.
And so they all have that unwritten understanding of knowing what the other is going through.
Yeah.
I don't even think they understand that themselves, but it is a connection.
Yeah. Oh, I think it's wonderful.
So yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Brilliant. And it's a family thing. Like we were finding our local autism charity was really struggling for numbers for their activities. And it was like, well, why? What is it? And parents were saying, I don't necessarily want something where I dump my child. And you're not dumping your child, but that's how some parents were seeing it.
Yeah.
As like a babysitter for their child. What
Yeah.
they were looking for was family
Yeah.
events where they could actually do things together.
Yeah.
And that's what we're offering them.
And it's
so
strength in numbers as well, actually.
Yeah.
Because I think the parents that you were saying who maybe might be a bit shy and don't want to kind of ask for the support and kind of feel like they want any special
Yeah.
assistance, when they're going out and doing something in a group
Yeah.
of other like-minded people,
Yeah.
it gives them confidence. It
Yeah.
builds their self-esteem,
yeah, definitely.
doesn't it?
And remembering as well that a lot of our parents are actually on the spectrum themselves,
Yeah.
possibly undiagnosed.
Yeah.
You know, we see a lot of it in our group, mums and dads, and they will actually say that our activities are the first place that they've actually felt comfortable because they're around others that understand them. You know, if they've got little quirks and things, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They feel comfortable and confident, and they will actually talk, especially the dads who find it really hard to socialise with
Yeah.
other dads.
Yeah.
You will actually catch them having a little like, all right, mate, kind of thing.
Oh, that's
and
great.
it is, yeah, it's
Yeah.
really, really lovely to see.
Yeah, because a lot of these groups forget about the dads.
Yeah, I mean, we have
You
got
know.
specialist dads groups in our area.
Have you? That's
It's
brilliant.
called Sends for Dads. They have breakfasts and social events, and it's amazing.
Oh, that is amazing.
Really, really, really good. But we looked at our stats the other day. I think it's only something ridiculous like 7% of our members in our group are dads.
Yeah.
Because it's the mums that seem to have the job of arranging everything.
Yeah.
And so
We
we're
do the
trying so
lion's
far
share
to
of the
push.
care.
Yeah, we're trying to push for the dads to come along to events, and we are getting more.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
So where is Spectrum Club? Do you-
Northamptonshire is
Yeah.
our group, specifically Northamptonshire, but it's the kind of thing that could be set up anywhere.
Yeah.
So what we did originally, we privately hired a soft play venue. So we negotiated. I think it ended up being something like £150 private hire. So originally we just put it out to 50 kids plus their parents, and of course everybody pays, and you cover your costs.
Yeah.
Originally that's how we did it. We don't always cover our costs now. We charge £2 per person, so for adults and children for most of our events, and we also employ play workers as well,
Yeah.
so that parents can actually sit and have a coffee and a chat.
Yeah.
If we have kids that are having a particularly bad day, we'll ask the play workers to man mark them a little bit to make sure they're okay. So that's how we survive. We don't get funding. We're not a charity. We're just a group. Some of our activities are very expensive, and some of them we do, as I say, cover our costs with our £2 per person.
Yeah.
So yeah, it ticks over nicely.
That's brilliant. And you're right, anybody could set this up, couldn't
Absolutely.
they?
Yeah, it's easy as pie.
Yeah.
Easy as pie.
So if anybody wants to get in touch with you, how would they do that? On your Facebook page, is that how?
No, because our Facebook page is specifically for Northamptonshire.
Is it a closed
because,
group?
We like to keep it that way, and we don't allow professionals either.
Yeah.
Because we want it to be a safe space. But my, do you want me to say my email?
Yeah, if you want to.
So my email is lprice@lloydbunday, that's LLOYDBUNDAY.co.uk. So anyone can email me for information, or you can look for our Facebook group, which is Spectrum Club Northampton. Sorry, our website, not our Facebook group. Our website is Spectrum Club Northampton.
Brilliant.
And they can get any information on there.
Oh, fantastic. That's brilliant. Sorry, we've got the boys coming in and out, and that's fine, because they're a big part of this as well, and they've really helped in this interview as well by saying, the good, the bad, and the ugly of what they're dealing with, being siblings of a lovely young man called Riley, who's here with us too. Hi, Riley. He's got his headphones on and he's watching his computer. Keeps giving us a little wave every now and again. So other things we were talking about, Spectrum Group sounds just amazing.
Yeah.
And you're doing a really good job there. They're so lucky to have you setting up this. It's just wonderful. But we were also talking about things like triggers. We were talking about that yesterday as well, weren't we? Like, things that trigger us, that make us go through a grieving process again.
Yeah.
And it could be like something really tiny, but it will just really affect us.
Yeah.
Depending on what our day's like.
Yeah.
And then it's the big things as well.
Yeah.
And it was interesting what you were saying the other day, that you've got one friend who's got a child similar age to Riley,
Yes.
how he's done his GCSEs, and he's getting
And his
good
A-levels,
grades.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's the kids again. Yeah, that's my friend's son, Joshua. He's done really well at his A-levels and he's off to uni, and we are so proud of him, and I am so proud of him. But there's what I was saying to you was there's that little bit of awkwardness between his mum, who is my best friend, has been my best friend forever, his mum and I, because there's kind of an unsaid concern of hers that she doesn't want to seem to be bragging about her son's achievements, where Riley has severe learning difficulties, will never do exams or go to university. So she doesn't want me to feel bad, whereas I don't want her to feel that she can't talk about her son's achievements around me.
Grey area, isn't it?
Yeah. And even things like his 18th birthday party, where I went and he's got all his mates there and they're playing beer pong and they're having a sneaky fag and all that. And you just think that's the kind of thing that Riley is never going to do that.
Yeah.
So it is difficult at times, and it does upset you at times. But equally, it's awkward for her as well.
Yeah. Yeah. It is really hard, isn't it? Because birthday parties are a big trigger for me. And it's like a double-edged sword. It's being invited to a birthday party, and you think, oh, brilliant, that's so lovely. We've actually been thought of. And then we went there, and it was an absolute nightmare. I haven't got that luxury of being able to sit and even say one sentence, never mind a conversation with other parents, because I need eyes in the back of my head. I'm watching my child doing his weird and wonderful things, which is just Iggy, but it's very misunderstood. And so it's really hard. So I just cried all the way home from the party while Iggy was sleeping. And it is a massive trigger, because it just makes you realise how tough our lives are, how isolating our lives are.
Absolutely.
So you felt really isolated as well in the past, haven't you?
Definitely. Definitely. But I've always kind of just got on with it. But I have been lucky to, since Riley went to nursery, special needs nursery, I've held on to the same autism mum's friends throughout that time. So we've always had each other at least.
That's brilliant.
And we'll do the little things like we'll tell each other if things were a struggle, and we'll sort of turn up on each other's doorstep with flowers or chocolates or whatever. We won't necessarily be come in, because we know that can cause issues if things are tough for the children at the time. But just little things like that make you feel like, you know, you're not forgotten about. And but it's very isolating. We've got friends in our group, families in our group. I've never met them, but they just communicate on our Facebook group, but they just cannot get out. It's just that the kids don't want to leave the house, and what can you do when they're 17, 18 and they're refusing to leave? It's so as parents they become very isolated. I think a lot of people
don't realise this type of side of autism. You know.
I mean, I think there's a lot of autism in the media and on telly, but for children like Riley, it is rarely seen. Rarely seen. And you know, we do get a lot of the ugly. We don't get violence, because for Riley, he's been through that, and when he was 10, and almost ended up in residential school. I remember him walking out of school and just headbutting me straight in the head, straight in the face, and that was the kind of thing that we had. Luckily now at 6'2", he doesn't do that anymore.
He's like a gentle giant.
I mean, he gets angry and stressed, but he harms himself. So he will bite his hands or knee himself in the head, things like that. So, which is not nice to see, but what I'm saying there is he's not hitting his brothers or me. He's finding his own coping strategy of dealing with that, and unfortunately that's taken out on himself. But at least he's not, because if he hit his brothers, that would really cause they're very little compared to him. So luckily we don't have that. But we also have the much less talked about behaviours of things like toileting issues. So we could be out having a perfectly normal day, and all of a sudden Riley will just have the accident from hell. And it will be, you know, literally dripping down his legs, and I'm stuck in the middle of a country park, and there's nowhere to go, and it's awful. It's just horrific, and you just want to cry and cry and cry. But this is the kind of thing that you deal with. It's those gastric issues that come alongside autism a lot of the time. I don't know why or what the connection is, but it certainly does seem to be the way that it goes.
Oh, for sure.
A lot of the time with our kids. But Riley's kind of level of autism, you just don't see it. The non-verbal. People, I don't know what it is. It's just not shown. I mean, I know it's more rare, I guess, than other forms of autism.
Have you ever had any general public come and support you and say, "Are you all right, love? Do you need any help?"
Yes. Or just to say you're doing a good job. Even it's that's really quite important. Nice sometimes. I mean, I've took them all to the supermarket before, you know, and I've been thinking, oh my God, this is awful. And someone's just come up to me and said, you know, you're doing great. And little things like that are just lovely.
Isn't it?
I mean, I wish I could say that the good outweighed the bad, but it doesn't. But in terms of public behaviour. But those little things do mean so much to you, especially when the twins were little and Riley was a runner. And I used to literally leave them with random people that I thought looked nice, like, watch my children, and I'd be running after Riley, like, to try and catch him before he ran into a road or something.
Well, nobody will ever really understand the things that we have to think on our feet really quickly, don't we? And we just have to go for it. And sometimes it's the right thing to do, and sometimes it's not, and it's, you know, because we can't be brilliant all of the time, can we? And I think we're just normal human beings that have really great superpowers inside.
I mean, I'm quite sure I don't always get it right, but, you know, you just do what you think's best at the time, don't you?
Yeah, me too.
So luckily the twins have grown up to be very independent,
so
living with what they've lived with. They are very independent. So when we're out and about, I can trust them by and large to be fairly sensible. At home it's a different matter. They're usually trying to kill each other in some form or other. But when we go out, they're quite good and independent, because they know that Mum has to have her eyes on Riley, because he's got no fear of danger. No fear of danger whatsoever. He's become better as he's got older in terms of his running and his wandering. It's like he knows that he's best not wandering far from me. But things like water are very attractive to him, and it's this constant worry about he's going to, you know, get sucked into a river. I know it's ridiculous thoughts, but it's the kind of thing that you do.
We do think like that all the time, because we know when we're not around, you know, things like water are really attractive to our kids. And we've seen all the horror stories, you know, and it's always in the back of my mind as well.
Well, it happens, doesn't it? It's a fact. it happens and disasters happen, and it only takes, and when as I say, it's a lot slower now, but when he was little, he would constantly run away, constantly just disappear, and it's awful. I couldn't even go to the toilet without taking him with me.
Yeah.
And you could lock all the doors, it doesn't matter, you find a way.
Yeah.
Because they're clever.
Well, you've seen Nicky.
Yeah.
You know, this holiday I'm hardly seeing him, but I know he's safe.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's great because there's like-minded people. Everyone's watching out for their children.
Yeah, and everyone else's children as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's just wonderful.
Yeah.
So tell me a bit about Freedom Holidays as well. How long have you been coming here?
Yeah, we love it. This is our 3rd year now.
Okay.
Do you know, I couldn't even tell you how we found out about it, but Tracy and I found out about it at the same time, so we came together for the first time a few years ago. And I think it's the kind of place it's either for you or it isn't. There's no sort of in between, because it's that kind of communal living. It's not luxurious. The house itself is beautiful, but the living standards are probably a little bit on the basic side.
Yeah,
in terms
I must admit,
of the
I was very
dorms and
shocked
things.
when I didn't have like an ensuite bathroom.
Yeah, absolutely.
But once I got my head around that,
but you know what? That's us, isn't
amazing.
it? It's not our kids.
Yeah.
Like my kids think this room here, this room with 7 bunk beds and bright yellow walls and 2 sinks is the best thing that they have. They think it's a palace. We've got the best room, Mum. We've got the best room. And it is. It's about them.
It is
isn't
about
it?
them.
And the place is just beautiful. The setting is beautiful. Everybody's so lovely. You can actually feel relaxed. You don't have to apologise for anybody's behaviour. And if there's an issue, like, for example, I had an issue 2 nights ago with noisy teenagers. Got a bit distressed. But you talk about it.
Yeah.
The parents are also open. You say, look, this happened. They're like, I'm so sorry. They talk to their kids. It's all sorted, dealt with. You move on.
Yeah.
And I think that's the ethos of this place is you just,
Yeah.
there's issues, you get over them, you move on, and everyone's back to being happy again. And it's just lovely.
It's so gorgeous.
Yeah.
I'm going to be here every year.
I reckon we will be as well. Yeah, I reckon we will
I
be.
just haven't found anything like this
No.
ever before. We've tried going on aeroplanes.
Yeah.
We've tried staying in people's villas.
Yeah.
Which is a bit better. And then we've tried fully inclusive holidays. Nightmare.
Yeah.
It's hard.
So we've done the villa,
Really
which was amazing in terms of having, you know, shutting the gate.
Yeah.
I mean, like, this is your little haven. But what happens then? It's the boredom.
Yeah.
There's only so long that the kids can keep themselves entertained.
Yeah.
At least here they've got other people's kids to play with and activities organised.
It's a lot more social aspects here for
and
the kids, isn't it?
and the food is incredible, 3 times a day.
Oh,
Jeez.
they're not having to cook.
Yeah.
It's just such a treat.
Going
isn't it,
home
for
a
us
stone
mums?
heavier than you started.
Yeah. Oh, it's absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, it's just wonderful, and everyone just gets on, don't they? It's just lovely.
Yeah. Is there anything else you'd like to add? I just think you're doing such an amazing job, Laura.
Oh, thank you.
And your boy is such a credit to you. You know, Riley as well. He's such a lovely young man.
Have you noticed that every time you look at him, he puts his headphones back on? Like we're just talking, he's got one headphone off so he can hear us.
Yeah.
And when you look at him, he puts it back on again. Like, I'm not listening. I'm not listening to you.
Oh, thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure.
No
to
worries.
talk
Thank
to
you.
And I think it's really good that we've spoke about quite a lot.
Yeah.
You've probably got about 10 podcasts in
Yeah,
you, Laura.
probably.
But thank you for today.
No
and
worries.
we might see you again on another podcast
Thank
soon.
you very much.
Bye.
Thank you for taking the time to join me today. To find out more about what I do, visit www.specialworldtraining.com and follow us on our Facebook page, Special World Training, Instagram and LinkedIn. I believe knowledge is power and strength is in numbers. And if more people get involved in our special world, we can all make our world a better place. Join me next week for more amazing stories from the good, the bad and the ugly.